Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Platitude Era podcast. In this episode of the podcast, we will be reviewing the movie Sonic, the movie. Boy, do we have egg on our face. Everyone thought this movie was going to be bad, like a kid's movie with bad jokes, unwatchable bad, and boy, were we surprised.
Yeah, only half of that statement's true.
So this movie's about Sonic, who travels to our world to hide from danger, has to go on a road trip with human allies, and in the middle of all that, save the day, or is he just a fugitive?
Well, I saw the movie The Fugitive, and I think Harrison Ford was out to save the day. I think.
So pretty much Sonic is what, a remake of the movie E.T., directed by Steven Spielberg.
I thought it was a remake of The Fugitive.
And I guess The Fugitive is a remake of E.T.?
Hey man, I didn't kill my wife!
For those of you that don't know, Sonic is the mascot from Sega. So Nintendo had their mascot. People watching aren't familiar with that. They're more familiar with this one. The mascot Mario, and Sonic or Sega, in order to compete, their mascot is Sonic. But I guess Sonic wasn't a strong enough mascot to save Sega because this company went out of business.
Who'd have thunk that Sonic would make a better movie before Mario would make a good movie?
And Mario had a head start.
Ironic considering his speed.
What could go wrong? You hire a Puerto Rican actor to play an Italian American?
Bob Hoskins isn't a Puerto Rican.
What about Luigi?
Who? Oh, the guy from The Pest.
So what Sonic had, what we liked about it was the design of Sonic, completely brand new.
I liked all the teeth he had in his mouth. I liked his human lips. I liked his weird-looking string legs. I think he was a better Slender Man than Slender Man. They just got the color wrong.
And after you watch the movie Sonic, it's going to make you want to go back and revisit all the games.
Well, the old ones. The ones from your precious Sega box over there.
And now let's talk about Jim Carrey, how we loved him in Ace Ventura, we loved him in The Mask, we loved him in Dumb and Dumber. He had a lot of hit with comedy. Then he turned slowly away from comedy to make more serious and dramatic roles. And now we're getting vintage Jim Carrey in this movie.
Yeah, it was nice to see a return to form to classic Carrey. When was the last time we saw him do something like this? It's probably been a while. I feel like this is just my horrible memory, but the only thing I can remember Jim Carrey doing that was comedic was probably a cameo, and I can't remember either Anchorman 1 or 2, maybe 2, I guess, but I wouldn't really necessarily call that, a bullet point on his cinematic resume. So, yeah, I'd say it's been a while. I think he's on like a Showtime show that nobody watches.
That's like a dramatic show?
It's probably like a dark comedy. But it's not classic Carrey as we've known to come and love. The proper Carrey is if there was a children's cartoon from one of the movies he was in. So Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, so on and so forth. That's probably about it.
Sega had really good blend of video game action. It wasn't regular action, it was more video game action, and it had that humor. So it kind of Sonic played off as a Deadpool type character.
Yeah, it's very Deadpoolian in its humor, kind of meta, was it kind of fourth wall breaky, I guess. Yeah, it's sure. This is your kid's version of Deadpool if, your kids can't go into an R-rated movie, or you have decent parents unlike mine who would take me to R-rated movies despite the content.
So, throughout movie history, we've had really good duos. We've had Batman and Robin, Beavis and Butthead, Cheech and Chong, and now we have to add Sonic and Tom.
Knuckles. Oh.
Sonic and Tom. They were really good. Is there anything else you want to add to this review before we get to our recommendations?
Sonic good, Sheriff Guy good, Robotnik good. I guess that's all you really needed. The characters that mattered in this film. They did a good job with what they needed to. That's all I can say.
They exceeded our expectations, and we have to give it up to one of our favorite character actors, John Ralphio.
Yeah, Ben Schwartz. Ben Schwartz of Parks and Rec and House of Lies and Comedy Bang Bang podcast. That's the third one's the only one you really need to focus on of that fame. He's a good job. This might be a little bit of a turning point for him. I've always found him to be quite funny, and this might be his big breakout role. Be prepared to see Benny Schwartz's name in lights.
In more things. And before we get into our recommendation, what did our friends at Rotten Tomato had to say about this? The critics gave this a 63%. Audience gave it a 94. What's your recommendation?
I'd say depends on how. If you're a Sonic fan, then you've probably already seen it, considering how late this is. If you're still up in the air about it, catch it in a matinee. I wouldn't consider this a must-watch. It's got its humor and its charm. I mean, it seems more aimed for kids. It doesn't. I've probably said this to you multiple times. I don't know if I've said this on air or not, but like I've been spoiled by the meta fourth wall. I know I brought this up earlier in the review, but not to the extent I wish. But like the meta fourth wall breaking, like understanding of the property as a joke in and of itself versus just like, hey, let's make a kids movie. Isn't that fun? Like Into the Spider-Verse or Lego Movie. As I've said before, Phil Miller, Chris Lord, Phil Miller. The Chris's and the Phils of the world who understand a property and how it can be lampooned and how you can riff off of that. I feel like that's what this movie kind of needed, is if it just kind of riffed off of the brand itself, because it's been 20 years since a decent Sonic game, or back in the Genesis, and it's weird how the fandom is like ravenous for it still, even though it's been bad and kind of goofy for a long time. There's little bits and like chili dogs or whatever other nonsense is in this, so that's there. Steve Urkel was not in this movie, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, there's so much to mine from the Sonic brand. I kind of wish the movie was that instead of kind of a run-of-the-mill, fish out of water cartoon character, Roger Rabbit, Iron Giant, E.T., that kind of template. I wish it messed more with the meta template than the boy and his dog template. But if it's fine enough to drag your kids to. I wouldn't necessarily call it for the 30-something Sonic fans such as yours and mine.
My recommendation for this movie is don't miss it. It is a fun time at the movie theater, and it does really play on your nostalgia and make you think, gee, that Sonic is so much fun. Why did I stop playing that game? And it's definitely going to make me want to revisit it. Before we conclude this podcast, I wanted to thank you for all your help that you do, and I wanted to acknowledge it. So I got you something. It's a gift card for Olive Garden.
Oh, wow.
Their pasta is unlimited.
Seriously? They have the unlimited pasta bowl? I never mentioned this before, but ever since I started doing this show with you, I felt like when I'm here, I'm getting a free Olive Garden gift card. So thank you for that.
So thank you very much, everyone, for watching this podcast. I really just wanted to get the Olive Garden gift card, but because Sonic is so popular, they ran out at the store, so we got the combination mix and match visit up to 6 locations.
You might need to go to a different supermarket with where they actually have Olive Garden gift cards. Have you thought about looking up a new apartment on Zillow? Maybe you'll find one there.
Well, we could do that while we're eating breadsticks at Olive Garden. So
those are unlimited, by the way.
Sorry, we got to cut this review short.
And the soup. And the salad.
Sorry.
And now the pasta bowl, too? How come Olive Garden doesn't have pizza? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I need to go. Can I see that card? No mention of pizza, but I can also take this to Longhorn Steakhouse, so that's pretty neat.
So, sorry to cut this review short, but we got to go. We got to go to Olive Garden, grab a bite to eat. See you guys later.